Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for another video. And as you know, we are on the hunt for the perfect customs declaration software in the UK. Now, that's really important because without customs declaration software, there's no import, there is no export, there is no nothing when you're bringing goods in or out of the United Kingdom. Now, we have launched a call for meets, for interviews, to talk to the guys that have this software to find out which one's the best, which one's great. And I am so honored to have our good friend Joe here from C4T. Say hello to everyone. Hi, Joe.
Hey, Anna, and thanks so much for having me in this call. Look forward to it, and it's great to see you again.
Wonderful. It's so good. So thank you so much for coming on. There is so much to talk about, but I have promised that we will keep it succinct and short to the point. And
Okay,
we have created 10 criteria and a set of questions that we ask to everyone who comes onto these calls. And we're going to go through all of these 10 criteria and these questions, and we'll have you say your piece on your software C4T. So let's get right into it. The
cool.
first, if you don't mind, but actually, you know what? Before we do that, who are you? Let
Yeah.
me find out a little bit who you are and tell us a little bit about your software. That's right.
Okay, and I promise to keep it short. Yeah. So my name is Jo Buvens. I am the what's called the CRO for C4T, which means that everything has to do with customer-facing teams, are part of my team. So that means marketing, that means the salespeople, strategic account director, the customer success management, but also the support organization. So everything that touches customers at C4T. And who is C4T? We are a software company, a SaaS software company. We focus on, there you go, customs, yeah? And we do mainly two big things. We do filing, so import, export, transit, all the good stuff. But we also have all the special procedures. So customs warehouse, inward processing, outward processing. We have RGR, we have temporary admission, and we also have excise. So we cover excise. We also have tax warehouse. And what else? Oh, and we just launched a classification engine, an AI-driven classification engine, and it's pretty interesting also what's happening there. So everything has to do with customs. Our main market is the UK, to be clear. So we cover mainly the, I would say, UK European trade. Yeah. And one thing that I think is pretty unique is that we have this concept which is called single message double filing. So if you do, for example, an export from or from the UK to Ireland, right? You use the same data set to do that export out of UK, and we just push that to the Irish customs, to Irish revenue to do the import. Very simple concept, yeah. But you can imagine that for a lot of our customers who use the land bridge, for example, in the UK, they ship out of, or they transport out of France, for example, or Belgium or Holland. And we just provide all that software that allows them to do, for example, the export out of Holland, import into UK, export UK into Ireland if you use Landbridge, for example. Things like this.
Wow, there's a lot. There's so many questions that pop into my head. We could spend another hour talking about all of these things. So I have to not ask these questions now. But yeah, there's so much to unpack here. I mean, I heard buzzwords like AI, but I also heard excise, which is something I don't hear very often, and also special procedures. So all of that sounds very, very interesting. So. Let's get to the filing bit though, predominantly for this, the purpose of this interview, 10 different sections with questions. We're going to go through them and let us hear what you have to say to these
Mhm.
hard-hitting questions. So let's go. First one is about user interface and experience. So when I use your software and I become a new client, how intuitive and user-friendly is the software's interface? Can you walk me through, I'd say, a typical example of a customs filing process using your software?
The best, and we'll talk about that a bit later, I think, but in principle, you shouldn't have to do anything. That's the objective. Meaning we connect to your warehouse management system or your ERP, yeah. And actually the system should kind of do it on its own, right? Without you having to log in and without you having to do anything. And by the way, if I look across our customer base, over 98% of all filings go automatically without anybody touching or doing anything. Yeah, so that's really important. Now, of course, in some cases, you, for example, for the UK, you need to add, you know, that license plate. Yeah. So we have from the simplest use case where everything comes out, for example, their SAP or their ERP or whatever system they use. And then you have just a guy in the warehouse who's adding the license plate. He doesn't really know or needs to understand what's happening, right? It's a very simple interface for them. Up to, I would say, the trade compliance officer who has all whistles and bells if he or she wants to have that. And so it's a web. You just need a browser. You don't need to install anything. It's a very, I would say, it's a very easy interface. But you can also have all the complexity if you want with all possibilities for the more advanced user. The purpose of
Wow.
what we're trying to do is make it super simple for the occasional user, but also have I would say all the reports and dashboards, we'll talk about that later, that allows, you know, the customs manager to see what's going on across different entities and in different countries if need to.
It sounds like you found a solution to do away with the customs declaration altogether, would you say?
We try to because in essence, and you know, I know there's other systems, but we try to eliminate everything manual as much as possible. Yeah. Meaning, you know, you have that data. Often customers, they used to send that data in a PDF or in an email or whatever
I
to
know.
someone to manually key it in. Manual means inefficient and also means potential errors, right?
Absolutely.
And also, frankly, manual means cost, and we try to bring down costs. It's really, you know, for our traders.
Wow. Okay, fine. Fantastic. Sounds interesting. Very interesting. Training and support is next. So what type of training and support resources are available for new users? Is there a help desk, live chat, or detailed documentation provided? In other words, can I talk to someone or do I need to talk to an AI?
No. So I'll start with the training thing, right? We help our customers to set it up if they need to build a connection. Some of our customers actually use an Excel upload to do it, but most of them, they use an API to connect it to their systems. We have consultants helping you to set that up. It can go very fast. It depends on the complexity, right? If you have, for example, 3 countries and you have IP and a customs warehouse, that's gonna take a bit more effort than just doing self-filing. So, but we have consultants doing that. They also train the users. So that's covered there. However, we also have a knowledge base in the system. So if you're not very, you know, not all users are very customs aware, I would say, so they can search for things as well. But next to that, we have 24/7 product support, right? So you can log a ticket, and we have a system for that. It's really easy to use. If that doesn't help, then normally our support team, they will contact you by email or by phone. Yes, you can call. But we just know that if you have like a recurring customs error or something from CDS, for example, right? It's often easier that the user can already be guided, like, oh, you probably forgot to, I'm just saying, this error code means that your currency is not filled in, something like this, yeah, to make it as fast and as easy as possible for the customer. But if it doesn't, you know, if we can't do it like this, of course, we have a support desk there. Next to that, Arne, we do have customers who want to take it a step further, yeah, and we also provide for customers who want that a managed service, meaning literally people, you know, solving customs error as far as we can for the customer. So why am I saying as much as we can? If there's just data missing, because it's all about data, yeah. If there's specific data missing and our team can't figure out, you know, what's going on here, or we're missing an essential kind of thing, or for example, the classification code that was sent is no longer valid, so, you know, then we'll come back to the customer and say, hey, I'm really missing this piece of information. Can you check in your system what this actually is? And then we'll fix the problem like this. But that's like, there's a few customers who do that, the full managed service, who say, I want to just do trade compliance, and I want C4T to take care of all the kind of tedious, tedious kind of things. And we have, of course, a team across those different countries who knows and who understands a lot about customs, so they can pick it up and solve it for the customer.
Okay, sounds very comprehensive. Very cool.
Yeah.
Automation and efficiency is next. Does the software support automated data entry or import from other systems? How does it help in reducing manual entry and potential errors?
Yeah. So yeah, that's core to whatever we do, right? And whether it's purely self-filing or self-filing and special procedures or excise on top of it, automation is key. So we have one single API that you can use to connect to your whatever systems. Some customers have multiple systems, of course. You can also use that API, by the way, to get the data back in your ERP or your systems. Yeah. So one single API for everything, which is very helpful. You know, if you know a little bit about IT, it's super helpful to have that in one sit. And of course, at the other side, talking to customs, we use our different connections to all those different systems. So you can get a full, but like complete full status of every single filing, yeah, of where it sits, what status is, has it been checked, is it stuck there, you know, everything, all those data elements. We gather all of that, and you can log into our system, which is called CAS, to check there. Normally, you don't have to. You'll just get a notification in your inbox, for example, if something is not perfect. Normally, you don't even have to check it, yeah. And we can also push through that API. We can push all the data back to your operational system if you want to. Yeah, we'll talk a bit about reporting later, but the same applies to then the reporting and visibility at that end. So automation is absolute key. We were in multi-model a few weeks ago.
I remember.
And, we did a little contest of the fastest, and that was one that was not automated, but that was like with an Excel, and our winner did it in less than 5 seconds. Yeah, so.
Wow, I tried. I was there. I tried, and it didn't. I didn't do it in 5 seconds. So that's
Yeah.
But it was a very cool initiative. I remember that. That was very interesting to see how that's done. Yeah, 5 seconds is yeah. We should record that. We should.
Well, we'll talk about performance a bit later, I think, right?
Yeah.
But we have some large organizations who did e-commerce. They need massive amounts of declaration, like really, I'm talking hundreds and hundreds of thousands a month. Yeah. So you need that super high performance. Otherwise, it doesn't, otherwise it doesn't work.
Understand. Yeah. Compliance and updates. How does the software ensure compliance with latest customs regulations and updates? Is it updated automatically or manually?
So let's first talk about compliance. That's what we call our legal content. Yeah, it's all in there. It needs to be compliant. Absolutely. So when we talk, and it's even more important if you have any of those customs warehouse or special procedures, of course. Yeah. But yeah, we provide that framework in order for our customers to be compliant. And also we update the legal content. So let me give one example of one of those updates, which was not a minor update by all means. Chief to CDS, yeah. So we support the Chief, of course, but we also support CDS. Actually, we were with CDS imports. We were, and HMRC doesn't put it on the website. We were the one who upgraded all our customers before the deadline on time. Yeah, we got like a thumbs up from HMRC there. And we just did the CDS export, so that's done. So we take care of all of that at our end. However, I need to be, in all fairness, and that I think for every software provider, sometimes one of those systems, they ask a data field or something that was not necessary before, right? You had just some legislation coming live in the UK when it comes to plans, for example, right? And the whole coding and that happens there. So sometimes we'll have to go back to the customer and say, hey, now for the CDS exports, for example, you also need this or this data field. So we inform our customers way in advance. So they know that they need to provide another data element, for example. Yeah, but we take care of that. We do the testing with the customer, and then it goes smooth. And we just finished whole CDS exports, all going well and smooth. Yeah.
Nice,
We
nice.
take care of all of that. You do not need a consultant coming on site or doing things in your software. It's a SaaS thing, so it runs in the cloud. Yeah. It's and with all the changes in legislation that happened and that will still happen in Europe, right? We're gonna have Belgium, we're gonna have France, we're gonna have Germany. We need to make sure that that is compliant and there for our customers.
Fantastic. Customization and flexibility is next. Can the software be customized to fit specific business needs or workflows? How flexible is it in terms of adjusting to different types of shipments or countries?
Okay, so I covered some of the countries, all right? So that is kind of standard compared to, I would say, pretty much all of my colleagues. We have one single SaaS solution. So it's not, when we say one solution, it's literally one solution. Yeah, it's the same interface, it's the same data, it's the same. You don't, as a user, you don't even feel whether you're going to do an import into, for example, Ireland or an export out of Holland. You don't feel the difference. Yeah. Most of my colleagues, they have maybe multiple countries, but it's literally different systems. So it's just that they acquired other software, and then they say, yeah, it's one and the same company, but it's different software. So where was I now?
One SaaS solution.
Yeah, one SaaS solution. Sorry, I lost my thread there.
All right.
So yeah, we take care of that one single platform that covers all those different jurisdictions. Yeah. So you as a trader don't have to worry about that. And the same applies to for EMCS, excuse me, yeah, for excise. You don't have to worry about it. We go there to this principle that if you, for example, in energy or in alcohol, that you do once, not single message double filing, but you use one single message to do 4 filings, right? And actually, if you add a tax warehouse to this, you can go to 6 if you want to.
But a one-stop shop. A one-stop shop.
We tried to do that. It was a very deliberate strategy, Arne, to focus on our core regions. And by the way, again, UK is our most important region, and to cover as much as possible. So we have the port-based systems, for example. We have Heathrow. We have all those different connections as well. So if you're a trader, you don't have to, think about 75 different things. You're in good hands with us. We try to. And cover as much as possible what our customers want us to cover.
Understood. Good.
Okay.
Yep. So we did we do integration with other system? I think, does the software integrate with other systems such as ERP, CRM, or freight management system? How seamless is the integration process? I think you covered that, but do you have any comments on that, or? It's pretty much what you said, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely core. We want to automate as much as possible, and if you want to automate, you need to connect, right? And connecting means APIs, and alternatively, you could also have some. For example, if you have 90% of your flows, your shipments are, I would say, pretty standard to what your customers, or maybe intercourse, yeah. But then you have 10% of, I don't know, sometimes you do with transactions that you don't want to repeat all the time, you don't have all the data. So we also, allow an Excel upload if you want to. But we really want to bring our customers to automation as much as possible. And so that means that connection with whatever systems you might have.
Performance and reliability plus pricing. So let's go. How reliable is the software in terms of uptime and performances? Are there any known issues with lag or downtime during peak usage times? And what is the price point? Oh, I can't wait for that one.
Yeah. So performance, I mentioned that we have some customers who have perishable goods, for example, and reliability is super important. We actually, our customers can actually see the uptime, and it's over 99.98%. Yeah. The challenge, Arne, is not our system, because it's built on Microsoft Azure. It's super reliable. Our uptime is super high. Yeah. And performance-wise, to give you an idea, when we look at how long it takes for a filing to be, submitted and coming back. That's anywhere between 1 to a minute and a half. That's not because of our system. That's the custom systems, which is just slower. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So we have an auto scaling platform, which means that literally we could do, if we want to, we could do tens and tens of millions of declarations a month, and you wouldn't feel it because we use technology from Microsoft and we just scale. Does that make sense? I don't know if that's too technical, but so that's not there's no limit there. Well, there's a virtual limit, I guess, but not for customs. Yeah. So where is the challenge sometimes is that the custom systems are down. We actually have a dashboard for our customers so they can see, why is my CDS export not happening? And they can just look at our dashboard and say, oh, CDS is down, right? I don't know how much experience you have with the Dutch systems, but DMS has been very challenging, let's say, recently. But what we do, if it comes out of your ERP, we queue that in our system, those messages. And when the system goes back up, they could be out again for 5 minutes.
Sure.
DMS, for example,
Sure.
we just push it through and submit it, and it comes back. So you don't feel it as a user. It's just a bit annoying when those custom systems themselves are down. Pricing. I'll talk to pricing. Our pricing is really based on three parameters. The number of countries that you want to use us, the number of declarations that you want to file on an annual basis, and thirdly, and that's a bit a special animal, the special procedures. They're not as much based on the number of declarations, but it's really, I would say, per country whether you want to use a specific special procedure. And yes, there is a differentiator. So it means that if you're a very large trader, you'll pay less per declaration because you use the system a lot more per declaration. And if you're very small, you pay a bit more per declaration because we also provide all the systems to make this happen, plus we pay the support. But of course, it kind of grows. So and if you use one special procedures, you pay less than if you want to use 5 of them, of course, because the benefit you get out of those is also bigger. Same logic applies to excise, right? If you do a lot of EMCS movements, you'll pay a bit less per movement than if you have a few movements. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely makes sense. Very good. Okay, good structure. Security and data protection. What security measures are in place to protect sensitive data during the filing process? How does the software comply with data protection regulations?
We are ISO 27000. We have all the certificates, right? Okay, to give you an idea, we work with companies like Danone and Kraft, for example, or Aldi in UK. Yeah, this is all publicly on our website. Or Honda is a very big. They have very strict, extremely strict rules on data privacy. But luckily, all our customers enjoy that same benefit since it's running on Microsoft Cloud with all the protection that comes with it. Yeah. And it's an EU data center, so it's also GDPR compliant and all that good stuff. Yeah. It's I would say, and I'm not saying that it's that is necessarily our own kind of setup, which makes it so hyper secure. It's really because we use really the best in class, platforms, which is that Microsoft Azure platform, and everything that comes with it. So we don't have data sitting on a server somewhere in the basement at C4T. It's all in that hyper secure cloud with all the backups and everything that comes with it.
Got it. We're almost there. So you're doing very well, by the way. You're already done with 8, so there are only 2 left to go.
I told you we would keep it tight.
Yeah, you did, and you're doing very well. Reporting and analytics. What kind of reporting and analytics capabilities does the software offer? Can users generate custom reports to track and analyze declaration data? Very important for customs managers.
I won't say the name, but we were talking with a very interesting prospect of ours, and this lady, she's the global customs trade and compliance lady. And when she saw our dashboard, she was like, oh my God, this is what I've always wanted my whole life. So I don't want it, but it's true. So there's 2 things to this. Reporting. Yes, you can do all reporting, like give me all shipments from this plant of mine to this place, to this customer with all the goods. and you can have like a full, query to all details. I think there's like, I think there's like 15 parameters you can even select on, to get all detailed information.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting to see what's happening with my shipment, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Also very interesting if HMRC is asking you a question, that you can see everything that's happened in real time if you want to, but also in a report. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everything that's happening at any moment with every shipment, with every good, etc., etc. So that's reporting that goes very far. You can kind of subscribe to it, and then you get those reports. That's
Mm-hmm.
one. That's, I would say, the more operational part. Yeah. Second, we also have a dashboarding solution, potentially Insights, it's called. Yeah. Which gives you in a graphical kind of thing, an overview historically with yeah, it's difficult to explain, but it's in our website, with how is it, pie charts and all that good stuff, like where are my shipments coming, where are they going to, who are my top this and top that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you have that. And if that's not enough, we can also allow customers to really push all data out in their own data lake or their own Power BI environment or their own whatever they want to use. Yeah. With all details, you can also put it in your data warehouse if you want to take it even. And there's a use case for this, right? So imagine that I have a data lake and I want to compare, for example, my procurement with my customs, with my sales. Yeah. We don't have all of that information in our platform. And so for those customers, you can offload it, dump it in your data lake and have fun there with it. So it's a lot of data. It's really a lot of data. So if you do a lot of shipments with all the statuses, with all the potential fields, we're talking, yeah, quite a bit of data.
I can spend the whole day looking at data, basically.
Actually, one of the objectives we with our company is really to take the customs managers away from the emails and the calls and the checks and the this and the that as much as possible, that they can actually start looking at that kind of information. And why? We got customers who came to us not to just do self-filing, but because now they have visibility that allow them to, for example, go and talk to buying or procurement in their organization and say, hey, we should actually buy this in a different way. Or, hey, I really need this kind of information from this supplier because the data that they provide, and for example, the HS codes that they give are really not good. Or, hey, can we not source it to another country instead of this? Because we're paying through the nose. If we import from these countries, can't we go another way? Can't we do something else? So to elevate the discussion, yeah. But the same for even the commercial teams, right? Because weirdly enough, if you are able to do self-filing and you understand that you can maybe change your Incoterms, that could actually give you a competitive advantage, right? Because you can actually take care of some of that work for your customers if they're in another region and take that in control yourself, which is kind of nice if you start thinking about it, what customs could all, what roles you could play and how you can actually help your organization. And I'm not even talking about the special procedures, because we have customers who didn't know that they could do IP, for example, or they thought, oh, it's going to be too complicated, or we're not big enough because we only do, I don't know, 50 million or 15 million of revenue.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a lot of import, export, coming into the UK and re-exporting back to Europe or something or somewhere else, you probably should have a look at it. We can actually help making that calculation if it's worthwhile or not. Yeah, you should really have a look at it, because it's really beneficial to put a customs warehouse in a lot of cases to avoid duties. It depends a bit on the business, the sector that you're in, of course, right? But if you're in some sectors like apparel, textiles, or I'm not going to go in all. You really want to have a look at implementing this. And then the benefit, we have customers who can save, like we have just a recent case in the UK where they saved on revenue 1.3% on revenue because of the customs warehouse. Can you imagine what that does for your margin? So yeah.
Let's go to the last point.
Yeah.
Feedback and continuous improvement. How does the software company collect and incorporate user feedback into the development process? Can you provide examples of user requested features that have been implemented?
Several things. First of all, every customer can log an enhancement request. Yeah. And our product team continuously looks at it. Yeah. We also assign a customer success manager to every customer, so they also get that input. And it's really how we built the platform. Honestly, it's not. We are not sitting in some ivory tower thinking about, ooh, what are we going to develop? We're actually listening very carefully to what the market is saying. And our customers are actually a great source of of enhancements because they're working in it. So that's one. Then we also have user groups. And so our product team will sit down, and we just had a session I think in March, where we sit down, we break customers in different groups, yeah, and we listen, what do you want to see from all areas? We put them in smaller groups of customers, and we note it down, and then we go back once we developed it. And thirdly, really, thing like excise, which was quite new for us a year ago. We just sat down with prospects and customers. That's really what we did. So we looked at what the market wants, really, and that's how we started developing it. I mean, for example, we have customers in energy, yeah. We might think that we know a lot about excise, but only until you really sit down with those people and understand some of the processes, but also some of the reports, yeah. That's how we co-build it actually with some of the customers, actually, in all fairness. And it's not because we're so altruistic that we do this. It just makes good business sense as well to listen very carefully. One caveat there, sometimes a customer wants to customize it to a certain extent where we say, hey, listen, this is a process that really does not belong in a custom system. It's really something that sits more in your warehouse management system or maybe in your ERP, and then we'll also be honest, it needs to be code that can be used by other customers as well, if that makes sense, right? It needs to have a base that can be replicable and recurring. So yeah, I would say, so the enhancement requests, the user groups, and really that third phase is really co-development. But we constantly tweak and tune. So sometimes you will know that you might have a customs officer, right, who comes up with a specific report that has never been asked, and we are in this business for many years, and then that specific customs officer in some country says like, no, I want it like this, and this is how it should be done. Yeah, we'll just even help and call in with an audit if need be. Yeah, and we'll build then the report. We just had a case like this recently. Actually, that was I think it was in Holland. I'm not sure anymore now. And yeah, that was a very specific question, and we're like, okay, you know what? We'll just build it.
Wow.
And then everybody has it. That's how
everybody benefits from it. Thank you so much. Wow, that was a quick whistle tour of the amazing features that you have. This is quite that was quite revealing. Thank you so much for answering all these 10 areas and all these detailed questions. What a pleasure it was to speak to you. So that was very cool. That's not an opportunity that everybody gets, so I feel privileged. So thank you very much. And it has helped me understand very much better now what C4T does and how you can help. And I hope it was also useful for the audience and the viewers watching. Jo, we've come to the end of this interview. As always, if you have documents that you want to share with us, then you can share them, and I'll make them available on the YouTube channel in the description down below, on the post show notes, as they say nowadays. And also, if there is a demo that you want us to do and record, then also we're very happy to do that. That's totally up to you. It's all voluntary. And yeah, that's it. So thank you very much for your time. And the final words are for you. So whatever you want to tell to the viewers, now is your opportunity. Go for it.
Well, actually, customs is a very, I would say, peculiar space. You know that much better than I. It's great to, and I think we're very post-Brexit now, and I think if I look at all the challenges that a lot of these traders have had, and all the sometimes, let's be honest, ridiculous kind of rules and complications that were set up. you know, especially with some of the things that happened in EU, UK, you know, I mean, the joy of the health certificates if you're in food and stuff like this. I mean, it's what I do see now, Arne, is that we are post-Brexit kind of, and a lot of traders are now like reevaluating and looking again. You know, we are honored and happy to speak to those traders if they want to have a conversation. We'll also be always super transparent and honest about, you know, if we see things that are suboptimal or that, you know, we talk from experience. We don't claim to know everything, but we talk from experience. So I look forward to have those conversations with all the traders that might be looking into self-filing. And it was a great pleasure to talk to you as always. And I hope that we meet in London soon, or in Brussels, or in Amsterdam, or wherever. Yeah.
Or anywhere in the world. What a pleasure it was. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Cheers. Thanks, Arne.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.